What the hand? Is this guy crazy?
Nothing but a peanut.
Olekaspers, hello to you, sir. And Acesup here for PokerNerve.com. As promised, I told this gentleman that I played today in the final table of the 888 Poker Hurricane that I would show my hand as evidence of what I had. At first I said I had Ace Queen. Everybody thought I had Ace King. What do you guys think? What does it look like? Is it the ace? Did I turn some funky hand into a bluff, or did I go for thin value with pocket queens giving me trips? It's the deucey. So it was a pretty fun hand, especially because it was final table. And the reason why I went for the 3-bet is just because this player had been opening at a pretty high frequency from early position. Now, it might have just been card distribution and just a coincidence, but I had noticed that they'd been opening a fair bit from early, and it's a pretty good spot to open because they had a fairly tightish player in the big blind who was also who they got good leverage against with an open. And the bigger stacks behind, a little bit harder for us to 3-bet a wide range. We're probably going to be 3-betting a more value-oriented range just because we do have the M8 open from UTG, and the shorter stack in the big blind just makes it a little bit awkward if we get 4-bet jammed on and we virtually have to call off. Of course, I wouldn't have been calling off because I had the Queen 2, but it's always a pretty close spot when you are 3-betting against an M8 stack. Just because of that commitment threshold that you almost pass by. But at the same time, like I said, I thought it was a fairly, potentially it could have been a wide opening range. Probably wasn't in hindsight. Might have just been card distribution, those recent opens from early position. But in any case, excellent leverage against the M8 stack. It is final table, good ICM pressure. You don't have to make it large to assert pressure. And so I did go for it here. Looks super strong, doesn't it? But my opponent called. Now, my opponent has 10, so he probably is thinking, okay, Acesup probably has the nuts. I mean, it looks pretty strong, and he's just flatted with the 10s. So my thinking is that he probably is a little bit worried that we have the nuts. But he's not too worried on this jack-high board, is he? Because he has middle set. And so he goes about his day trapping us, which is just lovely. Except we pick up the Queen on the turn. So once he bets, it's kind of hard to fold now because we do have top pair. And we have the opportunity to turn our hand into a bluff. So I just don't think that this player will have an ace here very often. And they can have, I think, 10s, jacks. They could even have been trapping with a hand like kings or queens. They could have some combos of like, maybe if they made a loose call pre-flop, they could have some, king jacks and jack queens and king 10 suiteds and stuff like that. They could even, I don't think so, because this guy seems pretty good, so I don't think he's going to call with a hand like 5s, but yeah, certainly a lot of sets and 2 pairs in his range. And we can now fold all of those out, can't we? I mean, we can fold everything out. The only hand that can call, obviously, is an ace. And it just didn't really seem like he would have an ace. I think Ace-King probably ships pre, and Ace-Queen may or may not ship pre. But in any case, does Ace-Queen bet turn? Does it lead now with top pair? I mean, you'd have to be a little bit scared of Ace-King, wouldn't you? I mean, you're probably going to check Ace-Queen. Same with Ace-Jack. I mean, it doesn't really make that much sense unless he's got specifically aces. Which is possible, but I mean, even a hand like Ace-Jack and Ace-10 is probably going to pot check turn, because betting would be turning their hand into a bluff, wouldn't it? So I just figured that he probably doesn't have that many aces in his range, and we get such a great price on the bluff. It doesn't have to work very often, but at the same time, I just don't think his range contains that many aces, so I do think it works enough of the time, and it did work this time. So that's just a recap of that hand. As promised, Mr. Olekaspers, I said I would. Everyone in the chat box typed Ace-King. I politely told him that I had Ace-Queen, and then I said, tell you the truth, actually, I had Queen 2. What a guy, telling the truth, and even giving replays. So fun playing with it today, buddy. Sorry I had to own you with the Queen 2. But, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up over it. It happens, Sometimes you get owned. So just be a little bit careful next time you get 3-bet by Mr. Aces up there that he doesn't have the Queen 2, except next time I'll have the nuts. I'll see you then. Man, I love this new keychain I got.